and every day, each one of us, every person alive, must make decisions. Some are large and some are small, but all of them count. We need to decide what to wear, what to eat, what time to leave home, what we need to accomplish during the day, who we need to speak with, and how to plan our day. Most of the decisions we make really only affect ourselves and those closest to us. But as a security guard, the decisions you make can impact the lives of many others, as well as the safety and well-being of valuable property you've undertaken to protect. So, it's important for us to speak a little bit about developing good decision-making skills. Some people are really bothered by making decisions. They can't do it. I'm reminded of a story told by an insurance adjuster after reviewing a claim following a motor vehicle accident. He read the driver's statement where he said, "I saw the pedestrian, but I couldn't decide if I should turn left or right, so I struck him." What this driver in the story failed to understand is that making no decision is, in fact, a decision, albeit a bad one. Imagine a security guard completing his patrol rounds and finding himself concerned about a door left suspiciously open in a distant and out-of-the-way location. There's only a sporadic and weak radio signal in the area. He knows he should investigate, but doing so will likely take a long time, and he also knows there's only a few minutes left within which to finish his rounds. He has to report back to his base. He now has a decision to make. Let's think of what that is. Should he comply with his posted schedule for this patrol, or should he deviate from the schedule in order to investigate a concern, which in reality might turn out to be nothing at all? Now, let's take a look at what the options are. On the one hand, the guard is on a routine patrol and is following a predetermined schedule. He's required to report back to his control within a specified period. That's important. If there's any deviation, other guards may be dispatched to look for him, thinking he may have become incapacitated. That could cause major disruptions. Also, delaying a schedule may throw off other planned events or duty transfers, thus throwing off the entire department's schedule for many hours to come. Since the guard can't get directions because his radio is not working, what should he do? It's important for us to understand the objectives of patrols: to protect persons and property. Is there property that is potentially vulnerable in this situation if the guard doesn't pursue his concern? The answer is yes, because a door shows possible signs of tampering. Does this possibility justify deviating from the patrol schedule? Again, the answer is yes. The schedule assumes that no vulnerabilities are detected. If they are, the objectives of a patrol, the purpose for why it's carried out, is to protect persons and property. That objective overrides the schedule imperative. A decision clearly has to be made. How can the guard help himself in making the right decision? He can start by answering some important questions to better assess the situation. By doing so, he may be able to make a better, more defensible decision. Some of the questions would include the following. How urgent is this concern? On a scale, would this concern be uppermost, or is it only a minor matter? How many other guards are available to respond if this guard were to report his concerns after returning to base? Is there a possibility that further damage or losses might result if this concern were ignored for the time being? Should the guard activate emergency protocols to get other guards to the scene? Should the guard investigate the occurrence even if it delays his rounds? Should he go back to his control room and get a supervisor's consent to return to the scene? So you see, even if something appears to be straightforward, the mind is racing to make the right choice between a myriad of different options. How do we make the right decision in a situation where multiple priorities might be considered? Let's start by ensuring this security guard knows exactly what his priorities and professional obligations are. To do so, let's go right back to the very start. Do you remember the definition of a security guard? We learned it when we discussed the Private Security and Investigative Services Act. A security guard is a person who guards and patrols for the purpose of protecting persons and property. Remember that at the very beginning, we also defined security as the state of being free from threat. Is there a potential threat in this situation? Of course there is. There could be an intruder, an act of sabotage, or even a theft occurring at this very moment. Any of these things, if they were to occur, will affect security on the premises. Therefore, these possibilities pose a threat to persons and property. Moreover, let's understand the purpose of conducting patrols. It is specifically to look for anomalies, that is, things that appear out of place. And is there not an expectation that the guard should, during every patrol, make sure the premises are safe and secure? Having asked and answered these important questions, the guard's decision should be to investigate the suspicion as quickly and safely as possible. If there are alternate forms of communication, such as landlines in the area or an intercom connection, the guard should report to his control room if he can. If not, the delay in completing his patrol in this instant would be clearly justifiable. What should you do when faced with the need to make an urgent or important decision? Some guidelines you should remember include the following. Try to avoid making a decision under stress. Stress can affect your ability to think clearly, and that's always a bad thing. Take the time to think through the potential consequences from each of the choices you might contemplate. Always think about potential outcomes, the pros and the cons which may arise given any decision you might be considering. Think about whether there are protocols or instructions, standard operating procedures in place to help in your decision. If you do have a chance to speak with a supervisor or even a colleague about your options, do so. Of course, one of the reasons we always assess radio communication on every site is exactly for this reason, to make sure there's always a form of communication between a guard and his security team. Keep detailed notes as to what you did, why you did it, and what happened as a result. In our scenario, if there had been a problem, a detailed incident report is an important step in ensuring a thorough response.